Welcome, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in to Do It Live, Autonomy Podcast. Today on the show, we got a bunch of looky-loos without their video cameras on, but hopefully they'll be joining us and we'll have a very fun conversation. Lots to cover from this last week. I got little clips to highlight, just little sneak previews of what it is we're doing here in Autonomy, but definitely no way to be able to catch it all. That's why I really like to compile just little snippets of what's going on so you can catch the replays on what catches your ear. Well, real exciting week. We're getting close to wrapping up season 3, and we're going to be moving into the final home stretch. And this is where it gets really exciting because as we'll talk about a little bit later in the podcast, this is the nitty-gritty. This is the mechanics of how to market yourself, how to put yourself in front of others, make offers on a large scale. So always something that I love talking about. And every season I learn and grow more and more, and I'm able to comprehend more and able to give more. So that's the way it goes around here. Tyler, thanks for coming off cam or on cam. How's your week been?
Yeah, I'm coming off mute, but on cam. Yeah, it's been good. As you know, I've got new internet, so my powers have tripled. Anyways, yeah, I agree with you. I really like the mechanics, and I know you're deep in the underground dungeons, tinkering with the gears and the wheels down there this week. So, yeah, it's right on cue with the things that are going on behind the scenes in Autonomy as well. And that's kind of the theme that I caught pulling some clips today was just there's like a positive feedback loop where people are actually able to apply the techniques real time as they're learning them as they go through the curriculum, and then adjust and tweak. And there's also good real world examples happening too. So that's kind of what I picked up from the things I've been working on in the last couple of days.
Sweet. Yeah, it's really amazing, like kind of how meta experience it is. That I came in with kind of a vantage viewpoint, but looking at new students to the season, just seeing their like overwhelm of like, I know I need to be learning this stuff, but this stuff is so like far-fetched or out there, and then you see them, it just starts sticking, and they start being able to conceptualize, learning the grammar of it, and then the next season they're like, oh, so you mean I can apply this to like what I want to pursue? Like the light bulbs really start going off, and then then you start like molding it to your own particular project and your own situation. And it's exciting. It's really exciting to see everybody's projects starting to take flight.
Yeah, and Roz came off mute last night, and you can kind of see that like all that happening as well, like what she was recognizing could be possible with the marketing that was used for the course itself. And then her kind of realizing like, oh, that's what we're learning here as well, like how I came into this course. So,
right.
On the front end, there's that going on too, so where you're learning all the way.
Yeah, it's kind of like the magic of your experience of coming in contact with Autonomy. Those that go through the funnel and join the experience, and then that reflection of like, oh, that's what magic you just used on me. This is what we're going to be learning here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, along that theme, I had the privilege of putting my calendar out there and offering some time in my schedule to students in order to do integration exercises. I actually was putting it out there for graduation interviews, which I did a couple, but a new student named Marcus, he saw my offer and he jumped on it and ended up having a really fantastic conversation with him. We hadn't met before, but I really got to hear his recent experience with what we were just talking about, coming in contact with with the marketing of Autonomy, and then going through his sign up process. So I got a quick little clip here that I'll showcase, and then we can talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, cool. And then once you hit the go button and signed up, how was that next step? Was it disorienting to get into like Discord and figure that out, and then like figure out your next steps for starting the course?
So if you were somebody that was a normal, that you actually trusted the plan that was put forth in front of you, it would have been easy. But I at times have a tendency to get ahead of myself a little bit. So I got ahead of myself, and I don't know if I'd asked a question. There was something that I did, or maybe I watched one of the first lectures, and then I realized, I was like, oh my, there's an entire video that tells you how to use Discord, what everything is for. So I was glad I didn't start, jumping out and putting random, DMs or messages into the forum, because it was all put together. So I went back, took a few breaths, and realized that truly this was a process that needed to unfold kind of organically, as opposed to me like, I'm going to try to get as many lectures under my belt as possible. And once I did that, everything started to become more clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm doing my job. That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you're what, like three weeks in, you're trying to catch up. There's obviously, like live, the course is much further along, but you're just backfilling along with tuning into the live weekly lectures. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Trying to jump on live when I'm able to and digest the content. So
sweet. Well, hardest part is to just come off camera or come on camera and put yourself out there, meet the other people in the community. Really, that's the biggest challenge. And once that happens, just like I imagine you're experiencing, like you start realizing you have things in common with others. Is that true for you too?
It's beyond true. Yeah, just this interview exercise, I've already met, the 2 people so far that I've had the ability to communicate with. And yeah, we've already had this direct interest in permaculture and some of the other areas that, that I didn't think that I would find in a industrious entrepreneurial community. I've had people, in terms of the permaculture thing. So that's kind of a pet project for me. So I think it's kind of interesting. So
Marcus is solid. He didn't take very much time in order to know that this is exactly what he was looking for. And even though the season had started weeks before he even knew about it, he jumped right in, both feet, and he's learning to swim. It's pretty great to see that motivation and drive hit a well-organized course. And so he's just trudging his way right through it. And I know he's going to see rapid results from this. Anybody else have any good integration exercises this last week?
Well, I just wanted to say about Marcus, I think he might hold the record for the quickest to enroll after receiving the offer and the options. And I think it took him all of 2 hours once I sent him the email. So that's not normal, because most people like, they do the due diligence, they watch all the videos. That takes several days. Like, even if you're diligent, it takes a couple days. But he indicated that he's like, I thought about it all weekend. So when I got the offer, he's like, I took you up right away. And that was really cool, because like, he can make decisions fast. And that's one of the hallmarks of people that move forward faster, right? You can make decisions faster when it's like the thing you need to do. And yeah, so some people it takes like 6 weeks, some people it takes a couple hours. But I think the fastest before that was like 24 hours. It was a day. So that was awesome. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really gonna be excited about seeing where he's at in 6 months, because he's already got momentum. Anybody else have any integration exercises this last week? I know I had 2 graduation interviews, and those went off without a hitch. They're getting cleaned up now, so we can share that experience with others. And they are on their way to get their graduation certificate and be able to move on to Autonomy Unlimited and move on to some higher education and get their hands on some real projects. Anybody? All right. Well, this week was jam-packed as usual. We had Michael Badnarik giving his presentation again. I have the privilege of doing the video editing and the cleanup of that. I'm doing the shadow hosting, which means I basically greet the presenter. I'm there 10 minutes before the presentation starts so that the presenter knows that everything's taken care of on the tech side. All they need to show up, all they need to do is show up with their slides and present. Then afterwards, I take that download and I clean it up, and then I've added an intro and an outro and just made sure that it's nice and succinct so that when somebody watches it afterwards, there's very minimal distractions, right? They're able to just absorb the information. That's my goal. So I got a short little clip here of Badnarik's The Ultimate Guide to Restoring Your Constitution. We'll check out now.
Do whatever the police officer says. When you get a job, you have to listen to your manager. Be submissive. Whenever the person of authority tells you to do something, that's what you need to do in order to be a good, patriotic American. Well, if our children are all submissive to authority and the old people die off, then the government can take over and they don't have to fire a shot. And we are very, very close to that stage right now. Most young people don't recognize the Declaration of Independence when they hear it. Most people couldn't tell you how many articles are in the Constitution. Most people do not understand the principles upon which this country was founded. And if you don't understand those principles, it is highly unlikely that you are going to risk your life to defend them. The conclusion, and this just takes 5 out of the 10, but all 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto are active in the United States right now. So what? What does that mean? What it means is that we live in a communist country. This falls under the category of if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. We may not call it a communist country, but if all 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto are active in the United States right now, then we are in fact a communist country. How do you feel about that?
Shocking? It should be. That was a.
We laughed at that.
I love that. So I chose that hot topic right there. That was 2 minutes in a half hour, in an 8-hour presentation. So if you disagree with that statement, if you want to debate and argue that statement, make sure to tune in for the weekly Constitution preservation presentations going on right now, because Michael Badnarik would love to debate anyone on the Constitution. And for my own personal experience, I grew up in a religion that wasn't my choice, but I was not taught anything about the government other than like government's bad. So when I came out on my own and I branched out as an adult, I then didn't care about the government, and then I got into my 30s, and I was really embarrassed to call myself an American, just because I saw all of the corruption going on around me, and it really wasn't until I met Michael Badnarik and learning about the importance of what it means to be an American and how unique America is against contrasted against all the other countries on the planet, and the importance of the Constitution, that it doesn't give us our rights, but it is a legal representation of our natural rights. So I now really appreciate Badnarek's work, and it could be a lot to digest. He has a very particular teaching style, and actually I enjoy it. So anybody catch this lecture or any of the Constitution lecture and want to talk about it?
Well, as far as the clip he played, he's correct. Those 10 planks, like, they've been getting shoved into America for the last 150 years.
Yeah, he doesn't really go into much of the history of that other than just calling the duck a duck. And
yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of history to it. You know, the Communist Manifesto has 10 planks, and over the last 150 years, they've taken control of education. They've done all the things, centralization of the banks. And because people aren't educated about communism, they don't know what the 10 planks are. You can go ask anybody who supports communism, socialism today. They don't know anything. So they're not educated about what they are supporting. And then on the flip side, it's like anyone who would debate Michael on the Constitution probably is not reading the Constitution. You know, it's not going to be a debate, because if you understand the language and the meaning of the Declaration and the Constitution and the history around it, like, there's not a whole lot of debate, except that America got subverted, got away from the Constitution, got away from the Declaration. And now we have tons of government agencies that have nothing to do with the Constitution, Department of Education among them, right? So there's a whole lot going on that people haven't realized, because they've thought that news, like the TV and the newspapers, told them the truth. And after several generations of that, Michael's right. They have changed our attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs to be merged with communism, because it's a way of social wealth redistribution. And it's always capitalism at the top. All those communist countries are run by people with money, but communism is a slave system to control people. It's like a livestock management system. So as he continues to unfold the Constitution, people can have a clearer perspective on exactly what's going on.
And I can reflect on my own ignorance as I described growing into this, and there's no way that you're going to accidentally figure out a solution that leads to more freedom without understanding the problem that you're in. Like there's a reason we've all been intentionally dumbed down, because you're just not going to figure it out not having those pieces.
Yeah, and they couldn't beat the system that was created, so they had to change our nation and add all these things over years to make it not reflective of the Constitution. That was the whole thing. They couldn't beat freedom, so they had to act like they joined it and then change it. And so when American imperialism starts in 1898, Spanish-American War, that's where the British started to get America to go beyond its shores. Because prior to that, there was Monroe Doctrine, and Jefferson had said, look, we don't want external entanglements like the wars of Europe. All those countries just fight all the time. We need to just defend our own country. So in 1898, the British got us. They're trying to get us back into the empire, and they're like, hey, why don't you guys come fight in the Philippines? You guys can have some of this, spoils of war. That continued through World War I, World War II. This is all in Corbett's series, the World War I Conspiracy. And by the time you get to, I was born in 73. So it's in the middle of a oil crisis. You got Nixon as president, and he gets, he steps down. You got Nelson Rockefeller then as vice president under Ford. So our whole lifetimes, things have been 60, 80 degrees off kilter. Right? And when it gets to 90 degrees, we lose freedom completely. We fall down. So we need to figure out how to get back up to straight up, back on balance. And you can't do that without an understanding of the basic rules of freedom and the long struggle of people to attain freedom. And when you understand the words in the Declaration, that's a whole different side of the coin. When you understand those words and what those people were saying, that's priceless right there, and it should be guarded, but it can't be guarded if people don't understand what the words mean. That's why it's important Michael's teaching this course.
Yeah, and so Autonomy and Autonomy Unlimited, we've taken his 8-hour presentation, and we have helped him organize it into smaller digestible chunks. So once a week, he's giving 2 lectures right now in autonomy, like a half-hour lecture and then a half-hour Q&A, and then a half-hour lecture and a half-hour Q&A. And so that's now going to be being organized into a smaller digestible move at your own pace course, so that more people are able to digest this. Because if I threw you an 8-hour video and said, dude, you got to watch this, not many people on my friend list would
only Peace Revolution listeners could handle that. Yeah, so it's important. And the other thing that Michael's doing that I think is great is he's handling questions. Like, it's live interactive Q&A with them, which is pretty also priceless, because he's like a national treasure.
It's true.
His brain is. I don't know about the rest of them, but his brain is pretty treasurable for nature and nationality.
Yeah, so make sure to catch him. There's probably about 3 more weeks left before we wrap up the whole presentation. So catch him on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock.
And that's one of the courses that graduates will have access to, right?
That's correct.
The swag bag for them.
Yeah, I got a sneak peek. Stay tuned till the end, because you'll get a sneak peek of what season 4 is going to be looking like. Next up, we got Lisa Manfredi. She's giving us weekly financial freedom presentations, and I'm just going to let her speak for herself.
As a young person. Okay, well, how do these things actually work? Like, what is a 401k? What is a qualified plan? It's this pot of money. So you have this pot of money. You choose your retirement age as long as it's past the age that they say is okay. So right now, 59 and a half. You choose your age, you retire. Cross your fingers and hope that the market is doing well and that it has been doing well in the latter half of your working time, because if it tanked really soon before and you're just trying to recover and you haven't recovered yet, you're going to be in trouble. Then you have to determine how long you're going to live. So I don't know, you look at the average life expectancy, you determine your health, I don't know how you do that. Then you want to project the rate of inflation over the course of the remainder of your life. You take your current account balance, you divide the dollars by the number of years you think you're going to live, accounting for inflation. Assume your tax bracket, deduct the taxes, and then each year repeat, again, praying that the market doesn't tank before you die. It's not really a strategy to me. It's not something that I really want to participate in. It doesn't really seem like a good plan. I've worked my whole life. I've accumulated funds that were mine, and now it's not a guarantee. Okay, so what things should you be thinking about? Well, the market doesn't perform linearly. So how can you plan in an environment like that? Planning is probably a good idea. So if the market's not predictable and it's volatile, can you choose the years in which it's volatile? Can you have all of the down years when you're young and all of the up years when you're old, so you have time to recover and earn past that point? What is your level of control? Do you have any control? Like, what are you actually putting your money into? It's generally stocks, bonds, mutual funds, things like that. So you're essentially investing in the company behind those and their success. I don't think we really have much control over that. A little scary to me. What kind of fees are they charging? Like, someone has to be managing this account for you, so there's some fee associated with it. What are those fees? How do they collect them? And they compound over time. These fees are taken out whether your portfolio is increasing or decreasing. It doesn't matter the impact to you. They're taking out fees, and those fees compound over time. In addition, your money is in one place. It has one use. So you put your money in the market, it's in the market. If you want to buy a house and you take your money out of the market, it's no longer in the market. So if you take your money out when it's the market is down, you're actually losing on top of your loss. What is the level of liquidity? Oftentimes there's a third party or a buyer required. In order to sell shares, there has to be a buyer of those shares. And if it's something like real estate investment, something in a real estate investment portfolio or something in 2008 when the market was down, it took a long time for things like that to fill, for there to be buyers for those. And in the meantime, anything that you had would have tanked. As we talked about, it's inaccessible prior to 59 and a half, or quitting your job. So if you're, most employers, if you're still working your job, you can't access your 401k without taking out a loan with pretty strict repayment terms. And if you access it before 59 and a half, there's a substantial penalty and you're taxed on that penalty too. And then again, in the down market, it's compounded if you withdraw money. So if you're retired, you're looking to take out your allocation for that year, the market is down, you withdraw money, you're decreasing the capacity of that money to produce many times. And again, if you've never looked at the US debt clock, check it out. The debt is in the trillions. And again, the biggest pot of money are qualified plans. That's hard-earned funds. People have saved their whole lives sitting in these funds, and they're part of the tax code. All right.
Valuable information. To reflect upon my own experience, 10 years ago, I literally hated money. I thought money was the root of all evil. I wanted to have nothing to do with it. I was very poor, and I actually got fired from a job and then chose to not get another one. And along with my buddy, I chose to get out of the rat race system and to just leave it up to chance that I would be able to survive. And my one rule is that I wouldn't turn down any work that came my way. So mowing lawns, cleaning gutters, whatever came my way, I'd jump right on it, and I would just take whatever came my way. And lo and behold, it was a rather magical experience that every month I would be able to pay. I paid rent, and I had food in my belly constantly. I was well taken care of, and I had a very poor view of money, though. I literally didn't want to be a part of any of the system, of the economic system. In the last 3 years, I realized that my financial education was the problem, and I've been taking steps to learn how to manage money, learn what is money, and Lisa Manfredi is definitely a huge influence and part of my education. She's actually working with me and my wife and my in-laws on what to do with setting up with our goals for finances. And now I feel really grown up, because I'm actually taking steps to secure my future, protect what money we do have, and be able to provide for my family if something happened to any of us. So it feels really good to have a level of understanding and realize that money is just a tool. Is what you do with that tool is what can either be beneficial or harmful. And I'm really excited to see where this goes, because I'm now owning my responsibility, and I get to also experience the reward of that. Anybody else getting any benefit from Manfredi's presentations? I'm just going to guess that you're speechless, because overwhelmed with value.
I'm absolutely getting benefit out of it.
presentation.
Yeah.
One at a time.
I think a lot of us are we gotta wait. Hold on now, everybody, step back, because we're probably just like myself at the park, trying to enjoy a Saturday night and listen in and let you do all the legwork. But no, as far as Lisa Manfredi's presentations go, they've been super helpful, and just knowing that she's there also to counsel and consult with if needed on projects that could be coming up, or things that people ask me out and about and I have no clue. I can ask people that know a lot more than I do about those types of things. So it's nice to have that as a resource.
Awesome. Yeah. Adam, what were you going to say?
Oh, I unreservedly recommend Lisa's lectures. Just like you, Josh, I think it's a completely different look on money than I had growing up. It's something I'm going to be sharing with all the high school students that when I have time to go off on my own tangents, I'm going to hook them in on, include them in on, because yeah, it's again, I'll go back to the autonomy pitch from Red Pill last year. It's a rigged game, and so it really helps to know exactly what the rules are and how to get it to work in your favor.
Right. Yeah, I was really confused and mystified. I knew some people were well off, and I just had no clue how that came to be, or how here I was like trading my time for an hourly wage and living paycheck to paycheck. And no matter how hard I worked, that didn't change. Yeah, to now understanding, right, the rules of the game, and once you know that, then you can take advantage, not of others, but of this system that was created, and be able to use your money wisely, because it's those that don't know the rules of the game that are being taken advantage of. Oscar, what up, man?
Hey, it's Lori and Oscar, actually.
Hi. What's up, Josh?
Yo.
How you doing? Great. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I've been following Lisa as well. I love her stuff. I think it's so valuable what she's been doing. The whole world needs to hear more of her. And I was just talking to her briefly the other day, and she brought clarity just to me in a half-hour conversation. So I didn't even realize there was a difference between an income plan and a retirement plan. I was like thinking they were both the same thing. So I was like, wow, even more clarity. This is awesome. So I just wanted to share that.
That's great. I hope she catches this, because she's
I'll chime in too, because I had an enrollment call the other day, and the specific problem that she had coming in was something that I was like, well, you need to talk to Lisa Manfredi. And I texted Manfredi through DM on Discord while I was on the enrollment call, able to get her contact information, give it to the enrollment call, and then those two talked directly afterwards for an hour. So because we have somebody who can be a straight shooter and just lay out the land, right? She doesn't have a vested interest in it. She's knowledgeable, and as obtuse and ambiguous as the idea that she expresses to some is, I saw Ben Swan do an interview this week with a guy who basically does a very similar thing. So all of a sudden, it's like now it's like when you buy a new car and you see it everywhere. So now this concept is there, and we're starting to see, oh, it was noise over here, but now I see that signal, and you can start to put these things together. So yeah, it's definitely a worthwhile education, and I hope she offers it as a formalized course continuing in the future, because a lot of people need this content.
Agreed. Yeah, like I said, it's priceless. I told her, yeah, in 10 years, I mean, I'm gonna owe her a huge thanks as things continue to compound, and yeah, for the first time, feeling some security with with plugging the holes in my ship so that the money coming in isn't immediately disappearing. All right, next up, we got a nice little behind the scenes treat for you. So there's a lot of tech wizards here inside of Autonomy, and we're always helping each other out. And this week, Tyler put together a little behind the scenes clip of how he manages, or how he puts together the Friday night lectures, and so that it's a nice seamless experience. This is shadow hosting, and it's a service that Autonomy Unlimited is now offering to other content creators. Check it out.
With an image here just to start out, and I need to start that virtual cam. So I hit start, Now that's launched, and you can see I already had my settings set up in Zoom in such a way to where that OBS camera is my input. So pretty straightforward. I installed 4 different virtual cameras to use. I don't know what those would be used for, but you only need the one. It does give you an option when you install that plugin how you want to do it. So just so you know, you only need the one really that I can think of, unless you're going to be doing more advanced stuff, which maybe someday we will. The next thing would be to have a scene collection of, probably you could do this in a number of different ways, just like anything else with software and technology, but I'd just title it really simply, like before the pre-lecture tech check, we have another slide. Now the pre-show is in here. Just mute that so you don't have to listen to that, but that's the pre-show loaded. So if for the most part, Joshua does the pre-show to get things going and kick it off and do his executive producer activity as he's getting things going. And I have it loaded here anyway, though, just in case. We've done it at least one time now where I've had to play that for Joshua while he was busy. So if you don't have this and you're trying to get this ready to go for an upcoming shadow hosting session, just ask us for that and we'll provide it.
I know some of you are drooling, looking at that and saying, man, I want that in my life. Others of you are probably saying, what did he just say? I have no clue what he's talking about.
Other people's eyes went crossed. So
My eyes were focused.
Yeah,
I know what that all means.
I was drooling.
It's value.
Yeah. Tyler, yeah, what brought about that, and like kind of talk about your evolution up to this point.
yeah, well, with that, it goes along with the series. So if you come in at that point, and yeah, there's a lot of prerequisite kind of stuff there. But if you're like, already doing that kind of stuff, it probably makes sense, like with Rich using XSplit and other people being familiar with OBS. But I'm trying to create a free course on OBS right now and house all that in my own teachable thing that people can go through, and then add to it as time goes on with just tips and tricks with that kind of stuff, to be able to get feedback really and see what people are interested in learning. And so, just kind of test dry runs right at this point with things that we're trying to learn in the course. So that was a direct tutorial requested by somebody who needs to come in and do something like that, to shadow host with somebody. They can have that technique. Again, like I said in the video, there's other ways to do things. There's a lot of different broadcaster softwares, but OBS seems to be pretty widely adopted and used and supported. So, and it works pretty well for what people need to do as far as live streaming and broadcasting and shadow hosting. So I pass that along to some other people that I'm, working with or doing projects with, and I'll just continue to try to provide those tutorials on things that I pick up along the way. And
to do that 10 years ago, I mean, you were really only like high-end media studios could even pull that stuff off, and they're running like $100,000 software and hardware. So pretty amazing that what we can do nowadays.
It's pretty silly. When I bought my first chroma key program, so like right now Zoom does the free green screen, like it'll dissolve your background, right? In like 2008, I bought a piece of software that would allow me to use a green screen and take away the background. That piece of software, which didn't work very well at all, was $1,000. It was $1,000. So now you can use like all these pieces of technology, whether it's Discord or OBS or XSplit, and it's like a couple bucks a month, and it's silly. So we have to be able to leverage it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, just a little taster. We have lots of like Tech Tuesday recordings, a bunch of great organized pieces of information to be able to start utilizing this technology for your own uses, either to help others out or to help out your project or business. Next up, we got a new series going on in Autonomy called the Copywriting Clinic. We got some great copywriters here in Autonomy. We're looking for more. And here's a short little clip from earlier today of them talking about writing cold emails.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think that this is better. What do you guys think? Comments? Complaints?
Agreed. Yeah.
Roy?
Yeah, I like the way you guys broke it up. And yeah, I like all the additions.
Because it was really good to start with, right?
Maybe I'll show you to start. This was
The alarm goes off, and the moment you realize it's another day of the same grind, you hit the snooze button. But what if you looked forward to getting up on a work day? Getting paid for doing something you love doesn't have to be the stuff of dreams alone. You could even work once, then sell that work 1,000 times. Schedule your new life today. What's your first thoughts, Agnieszka?
I kind of like it. I don't think that the greeting is necessary. I'm not a fan of the greeting because I think it sounds spammy. At the same time, I'm not in love with the subject. I mean, I really like the content of the email. It's a little short, but for a click, because the goal here is to go to the landing page, right? So all he's looking for is a click. And the landing page can say a lot more. So I think for that, it's really good. Not in love with the subject, though. What do you guys think would be a better subject here that's more of a hook? Because the thing is, okay, so here, I'm going to soapbox for just 2 minutes, right? When the email arrives in your inbox, oh, and by the way, Gabriel, you forgot the pre-header. The pre-header is another element. So it's subject, and then sometimes some people will see the pre-header, not all people, not all the time, but if they're looking on the phone, they will see another line, which is a pre-header. So that's another way to hook them. But okay, so they see the subject in their inbox, right? Maybe they see the pre-header. You have 2 seconds to get them to click. If in the first 2 seconds they don't fall in love with your subject, you're screwed. They're never clicking. Okay, once they click, you have 2 seconds to catch them with the first sentence. If you don't catch them in the first sentence, they're going to delete the email, and you lost. So
again, that's some good information right there. So students were able to bring in their emails, drafts, and then Kara and Agnieszka went through in real time and provided feedback. They massaged them and turned them into something that was going to be have a much higher chance of hitting their target, getting a response out of them, and going for that click, like they said.
So first off, the original copy was pretty hot. I like it. And then Agnieszka, because I only caught part of that meeting, so I'm glad you played that clip, because I didn't hear that clip in the part that I heard this morning, right? Agnieszka's feedback was very accurate. And that's exactly what it's like. It's like playing a game. And if you don't do these things in a certain amount of time, you lose attention and it's gone. And if you do that a couple times, they'll never read your email again, no matter how well you write it. So it is very much like a game. And once you approach it like that, then you can see, and then it's a high stakes game. There's a lot to be gained if you do it right. It's like gambling with yourself. It's like a personal lottery, that type of stuff, copywriting. It's cool. It's future thinking. It's visualizing. Like, what are people in the future who come across this copy going to think? Right.
Yeah. And I've had the pleasure of working with Kara for a couple of years now, and as soon as I was able to outsource my copywriting to somebody, it took a huge load off of my plate. And it's been great to watch Kara come into her own professionalism and being able to just really get powerful with her copywriting. And it's slowly like sticking on me too. I'm recognizing what is what's hot, what's not. And even though I'm not practicing writing my own yet, it's great to see others becoming masters in their field. All right, moving along. We still got a lot to cover this week. We have Friday night's lecture. I just got a couple sneak preview slides. This week was week 11 out of 15. We're moving on through. The season's almost done. And this week was called Gain Confidence Through Action. This is really where it all starts coming together. Everything we've been learning, everything we've been understanding and organizing about ourselves, this is where kind of the pen hits the paper. This is really the nuts and bolts of being able to market yourself, your project, your business, and how you're able to come up with an offer, but get that offer in front of others. And we're at a very unique time where we're able to get our offer in front of a lot of different people all at once, instead of just one-on-one interactions that people were used to with cold calling or door-to-door knocking. So it's really exciting time to be alive. And here's one of the slides that really stood out. 4 stats I care about. This is Rich speaking, Rich's slides. Surveys, because people who take action, you get to see people who take action, you're able to get their response. Appointments, you get to see who shows up. Follow-up, that's being able to see who's taking you up and digesting what you're putting out there. And then follow-throughs and people connecting with people that are ready to take action. Circle back around to Marcus. He went through all of those, and he was able to move through them quickly because he saw the value. He knew what was that he wanted to be on the other side. So he was able to rapidly go through those steps. There's different personalities, different types of people, and different strategies in order to get people what they need in order to help them make decisions. Oh, that one's much clearer. Another great slide from one of the 200 slides from last night. Your funnel is your path to converting offers over time by a variety of methods delivered via email. One, they're cold. They're just a stranger. 2, they become aware of your product, of your brand, and now they're a suspect, right? They're aware of you. They're standoffish, but they're you're in contact. 3, processing. They then become a prospect, right? They're actually giving you a consideration. They're digesting what you're putting out there, and you're giving them what they need, like I said before, to make a decision. And then 4, the rhetoric, they turn into a customer. They got what they needed. You're delivering something of value that will be able to increase the value in their lives, and they make that decision and then become a customer. Cool to see the trivium method being put into play here. I'm a little nervous going over Richard's slides in front of Richard. I won't lie. We have an example. So last night, like I said, we were learning about the mechanics of marketing, putting your offer out there in front of others. And just this last week, we got our lead magnet, high value content offer put up out there into the world. We're doing a friends and family campaign right now where we announced it to our team. We had the team test our funnel. We just announced it last week to the AUTONOMY class. They're now checking out the funnel and going through it. We are now starting to send the offer out to smaller lists And so that we're getting more and more traffic coming into our funnel. This allows us to be able to problem solve, find weaknesses in it, and make sure that it's a seamless experience for everybody. This is a daily, it requires daily maintenance. There's always something coming up until it like clicks and it works. And then that is up there operating with minimal energy required to maintain it. And so ton of energy went into this, ton of people. I mean, this is like a 20-person project to create this PDF and to get this funnel going. But then once it works and it just delivers from this time forward. So if you want to check out what we're talking about, go to getautonomy.info/19skills and sign up for our PDF, and then you'll enter into our funnel in order to check out what that is. This week we got some ads running. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I was really excited to start testing out some ads. This is one of the ads I just got going yesterday. This is Anna's copy, and it's actually performing extremely well. What it is a conference room. This is kind of our audience that we're going for: professionals, people looking to succeed in life. And so that's really the only theme in this picture. And then I, on my phone, circled this lady coming in through the door. Because when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling, your brain sees this and it looks up immediately at the circle, and your brain's like, what the hell is this? What's going on? I can't understand what the significance of that circle is. And it creates a pattern interrupt where before you were cruising through, you were seeing cat pictures, dinner, friends, and you're like, I know all this. What is this? And you stop and you might look at the headline, Essential Schools, but then you look up, and this is called a long form content. And what's not being represented in this ad is there's always that see more, right? Typically Facebook will only show you a few lines of text, and then it'll say see more. So you look down, you see this, what is this? And then you look up and you see these first couple lines, right? The modern world has a lot of secrets: secret societies, secret recipes, the secret to sex and dating. Perhaps one of the most guarded secrets is see more. Your brain's like, what? What is this? I have to like investigate in order to like close this mental loop. And so you click that and you start reading. And this introduces the report, free report. And ideally you get down here and you're like, okay, like you just digested all of these lines of copy because they were easy to digest, right? You could go one line and be like, oh, a little bit more, oh, a little bit more, a little bit more. But if you were to condense all of this into one huge paragraph, somebody would be cruising on Facebook, getting all those dopamine hits, look up into the copy, see a block of text and say, I don't have the time or the energy to digest this right now, and then scroll forward to get the next dopamine hit. But because of this layout, you're able to just keep giving a little bit more until you digest the whole thing. And you're like, all right, this caught my interest. This is something that I need. I don't know how you found out about me or got this offer in front of me through targeting. But then they come here and they're like, oh, wow, yeah, something of value. 19 skills not taught in school. Dang, how could you say no to that? You sign up, you hop into our funnel, and then you move on to the email marketing. Anybody going through this right now, getting any of the emails? You want to hop on and provide any feedback? Richard's done some amazing copywriting with the templates the email marketing templates. Anybody getting those? Are you telling me it doesn't work?
I'm signing up right now.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So I look forward to hearing feedback from y'all. you guys get to go through it first, so you're the first ones to tell me that something's broken.
For me, it's also interesting to see like the Herculean effort behind something like this, just to know like what it takes to really make it happen. And the multiple, I mean, 19 skills, yeah, to get started, but like even just to build a funnel like this, I know, Joshua, I know you firsthand now, like just AdWords alone is like a whole career, you know, or other platforms, that Infusionsoft or anything else that you have to get in and use to do something like this. Not let alone the, you know, the front end and the aesthetic and the all the other psychological components and understanding. So I really like and enjoy watching this happen, because I like to know what it takes to really do it right, and to have it done in this way has been, you know, it's amazing team effort.
Fully agreed. Those copywriters, people providing graphics, yeah, everybody is pitching in, and it's great to have autonomy to be able to test out our skills and show off our expertise, because it just helps out the community and program that we love so much. And like I said, that like cool like effect of going through this funnel process and then getting into the course and then comprehending what it is you just experienced is a pretty cool like learning experience, to be able to impact all of us to realize how we can use this for our own dreams and projects and businesses. All right, the time has come. I'm going to give you a sneak peek, because you've lasted this long. We've now hit an hour into this podcast. You get to be one of the first ones to look at season 4. We are moving from Teachable over to Kajabi. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been working on getting that set up for us. And soon, you're going to all be invited into a whole new platform. I think of Kajabi as the Ferrari of course software. The experience, the look, the user experience, all is very, very, very slick. And so we're now transferring over all of the content into the University of Reason. The University of Reason will have a library, and this will be essentially the collection of all the content that we that we've created so far in 3 seasons. Rich, I just talked to support last night, and I asked if there was any limits on how many lectures we can add to a course, and the guy said, let me check, and came back. He's like, nope, no limit. So we can literally just add material to this I told him we were going to test that theory out.
Yeah, cool. Lisa just asked if Kajabi does everything that Teachable does. I said, and more.
And more. So get a little sneak peek here. This is what like the inside of the course is going to look like. It comes with a really nice app. So you'll be able to have this at your fingertips. You'll be able to access the lectures and the material all within an app. It's really easy to use. It's going to be a pretty awesome experience. So really excited for this. I hope in the next week we'll get enough of it solidified that we'll be able to start bringing some people over into it. And again, kind of just getting some feedback and some testing done in order to get this place ready for season 4.
And then that's where graduates will get their affiliate links?
That's correct.
Right. Looks great.
Awesome. Well, anybody want to come off mic and say anything else about this last week, where they're at with their own progress with the season, any like experiences going through a season for a second time or a third time? Open floor.
It's funny, right? Because there's plenty of people watching.
I know they're out there.
We're in week 11, right?
Yeah.
This isn't week 2.
Right. McCarthy, what's up, my man?
Oh, hey, how you doing? Not much. I really enjoyed listening, and the new site, the new platform is looking really snazzy. So I can't wait to click around that. And I have to say, when you said there was an app, my jaw about hit the floor, because, I mean, when I try to listen to stuff at work on my phone, and sometimes just dealing with the browser on the phone as I'm trying to like do my job at the same time and not get caught on my phone, it makes it difficult. So the app is going to help a lot. But as for myself, and in relation to the course, I have to admit that I've been quite a bit behind. I have just now, in fact, started listening to Tony Meyer's Trivium course, because I'm reading the Metalogicon by John of Salisbury, and so it's like a perfect corollary. I'm doing that because I'm working on a project about critical thinking in the Middle Ages. But I've been finishing the book, working on my upcoming podcast and stuff. So I've been really, really behind, but it's been helpful to me to just see what you've showcased in the course of this episode. Because, I mean, I guess it's daunting because I know that there's a lot for me to catch up on, but just the sheer value in just the small clips that you've presented so far today. It's really exciting for me to see not just the course itself, you know, the main lecture series that Rich does is always growing and evolving and just value packed, but students themselves are branching out and not just doing like piddly little projects like you would see in school, but are really shining and creating truly valuable material that could easily be a very lucrative course in its own right one day. So I look forward to exploring all of that. Like I said, I'm doing Tony Meyer's Trivium curriculum right now. I've only watched the first one, and already, I mean, it's like top quality. I love it. So I look forward to seeing what everyone else is doing. I'll leave it at that because, like I said, I am a bit behind. So I'll let someone else who's a little more up to date take the mic. But thank you.
McCarthy, hearing you say that you're behind is like hearing David Goggins complain he had a bad workout, dude. So you're like the intellectual version of Goggins is what I'm saying.
Well, if I were wearing a hat, it would be off to you, sir. I appreciate that. Oh, and by the way, I will say one thing. This week while I was at work, I did wind up going back. And one of the first things I did, Rich, was take the time, because I was kind of bummed out that I had to be back at work. And so one of the first things I did was I set up my phone at my station and watched the entire Ultimate History lesson without a break all the way through. And I even got one of my coworkers into it. So it was a win.
Right on. Yeah, that is a win. And my jaw too dropped when I was like, there's an app for Kajabi, so we don't have to go to a browser to consume the course. I have consumed a Kajabi course on a browser because I didn't even know there was an app. So I'm happy like you.
Yeah, that's friggin' awesome. I'm excited to play around with that. So excellent. I'm glad that it's good to see that there's not complacency occurring. That's probably the wrong word, but you know, it's easy to get settled into one platform, and it's nice to see that you guys are still looking up, and improving and making changes where they need to happen. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here, and I look forward to getting my own projects done so I can be more involved. But yeah, that's it for me.
When's that book going to be available?
Well, I have a special announcement coming in just a couple of days about that.
Nice.
Yeah, autonomy.
You got a physical copy we can see?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's actually not the newest test print I've done. I got a new one and the font is different, but I gave it to my dad. But yeah, I've got yet another test copy coming in just a couple days. Make sure there are no mistakes. Make sure the cover came out okay. and then it's done.
Nice,
So-
my man.
Yep. And I've got a couple podcast episodes in the can ready for release when the book drops. So, but like I said, I'll have a special announcement for autonomy students only in just a couple days.
Sweet. And correct me if I'm wrong, that idea was spawned out of season 1, right?
Yep. Agnieszka. I blame her for this entire year that I've spent.
Can I buy one of your test copies?
Oh, you're already getting one.
Well, I want to buy one though.
You want the test one? Sure.
Yeah, I want to test. I want to test to make sure you receive currency for it. That's the test of a real product.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I would like to put
I'd be
you-
honored.
I'd like to put you in
Yeah.
our like student achievement section on our website too, with that nice project getting under your belt.
Well, that's the real reason I'm doing this, actually. I want that spot on the website.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. I know we're all really excited to check out your book and devour that. And yeah, man, that's a long time coming. I have clients who are in self-publishing, and there are hurdles upon hurdles upon hurdles. Formatting, you now know the pain of formatting. So congratulations on making yourself a product.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, keep your ear to the ground as far as Discord is concerned, and I'll be announcing an at everyone probably within the week.
Sweet.
Hey, we look forward to helping you promote it, man.
I look
Because
forward to
more
that.
people need. Now, are you going to have an audio version of the book? Have you hired Sonia to read it, or gotten a voice person for it yet?
I'm doing it myself.
Yeah, do it
That's
live.
the only
I
way.
like it.
These my words is my words, and I figure if
Well,
I'm going to
if
be
you hit
doing
any
a
challenges,
podcast,
yeah, ping us if you need help editing or whatever.
that'll be a big. What I need help, I think, mostly with at this point, is probably going to be setting up the website. Getting the store set up and then being able to link it to a podcast
Screwed, dude.
server.
Screwed. We
Yeah.
don't know any of that.
Yeah, that's the one thing you guys just don't know. And that's the thing that I have trouble with. That and actually coming up with a name for my podcast. That's like naming a child. There's a lot
You
of
should
pressure
call it
there.
McCarthyism. You should call it McCarthyism. I don't think anyone's used that yet. It
No
sounds
one's
like a catchy
wanted.
name.
No one wants it. Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I don't-
plural. McCarthyisms.
McCarthyisms, yes.
That's good. Well, Daniel, when you're ready, it sounds like, and you almost are, that then yeah, get on our calendar and we'll have a discovery call and we'll go over your project and what obstacles are in front of you and we'll crush them.
That's fantastic. And, I'll get feedback from as many people as I can. I'll say here, because it won't really give much away, but the announcement that I'm planning on, what my first step is going to be is just doing a reading for people of like my 2 favorite chapters, or maybe my 2nd favorite chapter, and just getting people, here's what I'm talking about, then having a Q&A afterwards.
Sweet.
And then there's more following that. But before I release the book to the public, it's going to be available to people in autonomy for a while, so I can get some reviews.
Too.
Yeah. Well, I've got a plan. Well, and I want to talk to you guys about all this stuff.
Cool.
but-
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Cool.
Awesome, Daniel. Thanks so much for showing up tonight and sharing that special news.
You bet. Thanks for having me, as always.
Cool, man. Oscar, how is your first season going, man?
Loving it, man. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to give my 2 cents here, share my parhesia about this. And, my wife and I have been involved with self-development for a very long time, at least 10 years. And Lori actually worked for a particular company for about 2 years. We volunteered for the company for many years before that. And so we've been around the block in regards to what's out there, what's available, what the gist is, and what really works and what doesn't. And so from our experience, we've just been feeling so absolutely blessed because of how everything is formatted and how everything builds on top of everything else from the week before. And the immense value that is being provided here is nothing like I've ever seen before in self-development at all, bar none. you know, and I've been around. Both Lori and I have been around, and we just had a little powwow with you know, myself, my wife, and my 19-year-old daughter, who's also enrolled, and we just had a really valuable exchange in regards to what it is that we can do and where we're going to take this, and we're all very excited. And we had some you know, concerns in between within ourselves in regards to, you know, how are we going to do this, and you know, how to get better. And it was a really great conversation, and I'm just glad that we had something like autonomy to center it around. So you know, I don't know what else I can say in regards to how great this actually is. It needs to be experienced. Even with all my experience with Richard and being a fan of the Peace Revolution and the Tragedy and Hope website since, I don't know, 2012 at least, that was just a slice, really, of what is being provided now through autonomy. And we're so absolutely happy that we are a part of this. And I don't know, you know, it just where we would be exactly if we didn't do this. And we would be missing out so much. And, you know, it's like one of those opportunities that you didn't know was so awesome until you actually do it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. And I don't know, Laura, did you want to add anything to that?
I'll just add one sentence. With all the self-development that we've had, like probably 10 years worth of all different kinds, I was sharing with Oscar the other night how it reminds me of a mixing bowl of everything we've taken and all thrown into one big package. So I was telling Miranda, our 19-year-old, I'm like, girl, this is the best thing that's ever going to happen to you in your life. You can take these skills and, you know, do whatever and just be a success. So thank you.
And bake a beautiful artesian bread that can be devoured with.
Yeah, like a 10-tier cake or something.
Oh, that's so exciting! What a beautiful thing to say. You're both glowing right now, and this is really great to capture. Oscar, Lori, if you could tell yourself a message before you guys joined, what would you tell?
Before we joined?
Yeah, what would you tell yourself?
Just do it.
Just do it. I was thinking the same thing.
Just do it. You know,
just don't think. Just, you know,
I'm
sometimes.
sure people have their reservations, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they're all there for very good reason. It's, you know, other than that, it just never mind that. You'll be happy that you made this choice, bar none. It's
because
a no-brainer.
Realistically, anybody with heart probably has gotten brought to this point. So follow your heart.
Right, for sure.
Love it.
Yeah, and I think I've actually confirmed that Miranda's the youngest student here.
There's a contest now.
Because I talked to Chase. He's 19 as well, but he turns 20 next month, I believe, and Miranda turns 20 in September. So
yeah, I'm still trying to sell my 2-year-old daughter, man. She's not. Well, it sounds like you guys have like some projects in the works, and we hope that you guys share that with us so that
yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple ideas, and you know, I've been talking to Mark on a regular basis. Mark Sower, really great guy. We've been, you know, every time we have a conversation, it's very insightful. We both really jive well, and he you know, he's a really great idea guy, and you know, somebody that I can really talk to easily, and you know, I've been, you know, really valuing his feedback.
Sweet. Mark also gave a good in season 1 a good presentation on finances that was really powerful, and yeah, I need to remind him to do that again, because
I'll be sure to remind him.
Yeah. really valuable resource. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, and I'm really excited to see what you guys have cooking and what you're about to unleash on the world.
For sure. Yeah, we'll keep you in touch, man. We'll definitely let you know. You just we'll make the announcements. We'll in Discord, of course.
Awesome. Great, guys. Well, thanks for sharing. Have yourselves a good night.
No problem.
Anybody else have any success stories, or we're going to leave it at that? Boom. That was this week's episode of Do It Live Autonomy Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. And thank you, everybody who joined, participated, shared your perspectives, presented this week, showed up, and you're helping make this world a much safer and better place. Join us again next week where we'll be doing the same thing. We're moving into the home stretch, like I said. And whatever you're watching this on, make sure to subscribe, like, leave us a comment, share it with your friends. Like, there's some magical things going on here. And we want to help you get your community and your friends and family in here. If you want to know how to get autonomy for yourself, go to getautonomy.info. And if you want to check out our new 19 essential skills not taught in school, go to getautonomy.info/19 skills. Not that hard. Make sure to tell whoever you talk to when you get to the call to get in that we sent you. And we look forward to seeing you inside of Autonomy.